Michael had been a truck driver for over 15 years. The road had become his second home, and he knew every mile of the route by heart. However, this trip seemed to be something special. He was assigned to deliver a load to a warehouse located in a remote area where he had never been before. The weather was overcast, and thick fog covered the road like an endless gray shroud. The trip was night, and within a couple of hours after leaving, he found himself far from the usual highways. He had to drive along narrow country roads, and the further he went, the more he felt a strange uneasiness. Michael was not superstitious, but something in the air seemed wrong. When the clock showed midnight, he noticed something strange ahead. A figure was standing on the side of the road. It was a woman in a long black cloak, and it seemed she was trying to hitch a ride. Michael didn't like to stop in such situations, especially at night, but something inside him made him slow down.
"Where are you going?"
he asked, opening the window. The woman silently pointed forward, towards the dense forest that lay past his path. Her face was hidden by the shadow of the hood, but Vasily thought that something in her appearance was wrong. But he said nothing and offered her to get into the cabin. The woman opened the door without a word and sat down in the passenger seat. The road continued in silence. The woman did not say a word, and Michael decided not to pester with questions, simply concentrating on the road. But after a while, he noticed that the temperature in the cabin began to drop. He shivered, glanced at the passenger, and noticed that her face was now slightly illuminated by the light of the dashboard. It was pale, as if sculpted from marble. Her eyes seemed to be closed, but a strange whisper began to fill the space around her.
"Do you hear that?"
he asked. The woman didn't answer, but the whisper grew louder. Michael felt his heart pound. He tried to focus on the road, but his gaze kept returning to the passenger. At one point, he blinked, and she was gone. The brakes squealed on the empty road. The truck stopped abruptly. Vasily frantically looked around the empty seat. The cabin door was closed, and there were no signs that anyone had gotten out, but fear washed over him like a wave. It seemed to him that there was someone behind him. He slowly turned his head to the rearview mirror, and his heart sank. In the dark mirror, he saw the same woman standing right behind his seat. She was looking straight at him. Her deathly eyes were empty, as if they did not see this world. The woman's lips barely moved, uttering something unintelligible. Fear paralyzed Michael. He wanted to scream, but his voice was gone. The next moment, the woman disappeared, as if she had never been there. Michael was breathing heavily, trying to come to his senses. He looked in the mirror again. No one. Gradually, he gathered his courage and started driving, but he was driving as if in a nightmare. The feeling that he was being watched did not leave him for a second. The road ahead was getting darker with every kilometer. The next day at dawn, Michael's truck was found on the side of the road, a few kilometers from the warehouse. The engine was still running, but the driver himself was nowhere to be found. His disappearance became one of the most mysterious mysteries in those parts. Eyewitnesses later said that on that road, they often see a woman in black, standing and waiting for passing drivers, but none of them returned to tell what happened next.